Hello students, in the last video we have completed the immunity chapter by understanding the life cycle of HIV. That was the last part of immunity. In this video we are going to start another topic, that is cancer. So in this video we are going to see the cancer, what is cancer, definition of cancer, what is the cause of cancer, different types of cancer, what are the reasons which is actually causing the disease in the body, that is cancer. Then after that we'll see detection and treatment. So let us first of all understand what is cancer. Normally what happens in our body, we have the cells, right? So those cells will undergo the cell cycle, right? So whenever it will undergo the cell cycle, then what will happen? It will first of all undergo growth phase, synthesis phase, then another growth, and after that the last phase, that is cytokinesis, right? So this way what happen, it will produce two cells and once again this cycle will continue. So what happens, see here we will have G1 as G2, then after that M phase, right? So this way cell cycle occurs. Normally what happens, if every cell in our body will actually attain a cycle, and in that cycle they will have now the various check gates, right? So in this G1 phase there will be a check gate, okay? In synthesis also there will be another check. In every step we are going to have some checkpoints, and in that checkpoints it will be checked whether the cell is undergoing the normal growth phase or synthesis phase or not. And if it happens that some abnormal thing is happening, then what happens, that cell will no more able to undergo the next stage in that cycle, and that cell will be deleted from the body. Now what happened, in certain cases due to some of the reasons in our body, some cancerous growth occurs, right? What are the reasons? There are basically two reasons. See, suppose one of the check gate is not working. The reason why the check gates are not working, how our body will not able to identify that yes, that cell is undergoing uncontrolled division. So for that we will have two reasons. What are they? First of all, there is a reason, that is proto-oncogene, right? Okay. And the second one, this is the tumor suppressor cell. Okay, tumor suppressor gene. See, in every cell we have a gene that is called proto-oncogene. So that proto-oncogene is present in every cell, which is actually remain in inactivated state. So if it is remain inactivated, then what happen? In our body the cell will not undergoing uncontrolled division, right? But in certain cases, see, if the proto-oncogenes, they are remain inactivated, right? If it is inactivated, then what happen? This cycle from one cell, it will form two cell, right? That means it is the control division. But if somehow that proto-oncogenes get activated, right? So if that proto-oncogenes get activated, then that will be known as oncogene, right? So this oncogene will be responsible for uncontrolled growth, and because of that what will happen in our body, the cell will undergo rapid multiplication, rapid mitosis, and it will form a cluster of cells, and they are all cancerous now, right? So this way cancerous growth will occur. Similarly, in our body we have a gene that is called as tumor suppressor gene. This is our immunological function, that in our body if some uncontrolled or some abnormal divisions is going on, then that tumor suppressor gene will check that suppose malfunctioned or abnormal cell division and kill that cell, right? So if the tumor suppressor gene is activated, Okay, so this is remain activated. Then what will happen? If that cell develop that oncogene, right? If that cell is going to have this oncogene, but what happened due to the activation of this tumor suppressor cell, what happened? That cell will no more able to undergo the cell cycle, and that cell will be deleted. That cell will be destroyed. Right? So that is the function of our immune system, that it will check whether our body have some abnormal things going on or not. So if somehow the tumor suppressor gene, that actually this is a gene, that gene will produce some protein which will inhibit the cell division, right? But now if the tumor suppressor gene get mutated, right? So if the tumor suppressor gene get mutated, right? So here also if the proto-oncogene get mutated, then what happened? What happened? That this tumor suppressor gene will no more able to produce that protein who actually inhibits that cell division or that cell destruction, right? And after that what will happen? That it will cause cancerous growth, right? So that can cause cancer, right? So what is the reason? There are two reasons. What are they? Activation of the proto-oncogene, and second one is the mutation of the tumor suppressor gene. If both these two or one of these two get activated means what? It get mutated, right? Then what happen in our body? Cancerous growth will occur, where they will not follow the normal cell cycle, and rapid multiplication will occur within short period of time. That is known as cancer. So what will be the proper definition of cancer? Cancer means it is the uncontrolled proliferation of cells which hamper the functions of normal cells, right? So then we can call this as cancer. Now what happens? See, in our body we have some very unique thing that may be a reason how actually some differences are there in between tumor and cancer, right? So see what happened in our body. We will have two types of tumor. One is known as benign tumor and another is known as malignant tumor. So maybe it is possible that benign tumor cannot be cancerous. It is not cancerous, but once they are converted into a malignant state, then what happens? It becomes cancerous. So let's just see that one. What is actually the difference between benign and malignant tumor? So let's just see what is the difference between benign tumor and malignant tumor. See, first of all, in case of benign tumor, the benign tumor inside a protective sheet, inside a limited area, what happened? The cells will undergo multiple division. So that's why what happened, always those benign tumor that will cause limited harm, or their destruction will be limited. But whenever it comes to the malignant tumor will no more have this protective sheet, and because of that, what happened? That tumor cells, they can spread to the new areas, and whenever they spread to the new areas, then it will start tumor formation in the another locations also. And whenever they will go to the different other locations, then if somehow they reach the blood vessel, then maybe it is possible they can spread throughout the body. From the origin, it will reach the other parts of the body too, and then this state that will be known as the malignant state, right? So first of all, see what happened. Normally a cell, whenever it divides, multiply, then it obey a specific rule that is known as contact inhibition rule, right? Contact inhibition rule means that if a cell divides and division is going on, suppose, then whenever that cell membrane attached to the or just touched by the another cell membrane, then it stops division by that only, right? But what happens if it comes to the malignant cells will not follow the contact inhibition rule. In that case, the cells, if it is multiplying and at one period of time, what happened? Those cells attached to the plasma membrane of the other cells also, it will not stop dividing. It will go on dividing, go on multiplication, and that's why abnormal proliferation of cancerous cells occur, right? So let's just see what is the difference between that division, that is benign tumor and malignant tumor. So first of all, just see what happens if it comes to the normal cell. Okay, I'm talking about a normal cell division. So if that cell is dividing, right, so this way from 1 to 2 cell, 2 to 4 cell, this way the cells are going on division, right? At one period of time, what happened? If one of the normal cell get attached to the plasma membrane, then what will happen? Suppose this cell get attached to the plasma membrane, right? So in this point, what happened? The cell division stops. That means after that, no more further division will occur, and that is known as contact inhibition, right? And if it is coming to the normal cell division, they will always follow this contact inhibition rule. So this is the basic rule of a cell. Whenever a cell, normal cell, attached to the plasma membrane of the neighboring cell, then it stops dividing, right? So it will obey the contact inhibition rule. Now in this case, just see what happened. Now the cancerous cells, they are growing, right? So what will happen? Suppose these are now the cancerous cells, right? They will divide, multiplying in a very high rate, okay? And surrounding, it's not like that on the other sides we are not going to have the cells. It will be only free area. It will be not like that. So on the surrounding we will have the normal cells also, right? So if a cancerous cell get attached by the plasma membrane of the another cell, suppose this cancerous cell is attached by the plasma membrane of a normal cell, then what happened? They should stop division by that. But what happened? As it is a cancerous cell, they will not follow the contact inhibition rule. Otherwise, cancerous cell division will be also stopped. But what happened? They will not follow the contact inhibition rule. And because of that, what happened? The cancerous cell division will go on. They will multiply. And if they are multiplying, what happens? At one period of time, their space will be limited, isn't that? Because surrounding that cell, it will have the normal tissues also. Our body cells will be also present along with the cancerous cell. So at one period of time, whenever suppose the cancerous cells are growing and their space is limited because it has been already the normal cells present, then what happen? That cancerous cell will release some toxins, okay? So they will release some toxins, some chemicals, and by these chemicals, what happen? It will kill the normal cells. So those normal cells will be killed, and if the normal cells will be killed, what happen? That space will be for now freed. And if the new space is get by the cells, cancerous cells, now in those areas also the cancerous division will occur, okay? And this way actually what happened, the individual's cancerous growth will occur in a very huge rate. It will release some toxins, so those toxins in our body starts causing pain also, and also cause hormonal imbalance too. So it can sometimes mimic the other hormones of our body. So this way it can cause suppose hyper secretion of that specific hormone will occur, may resemble suppose the insulin. So high level of insulin will occur because suppose that toxin is resembling to a hormone insulin. So what will happen, that individual will suffer from hypersecretion or hyposecretion of that specific hormone to which that toxin is mimicking, right? So due to the release of that toxin, first of all, that individual will have pain because the normal cells are destroying, because the cells are giving the stimulation to the brain, and the brain will understand and it will release some chemicals by which we will have the sensation that yes, the normal cells are destroying, and that's why pain occurs. And along with that, these toxins are resembling to other hormones of our body, and because of that reason, that individual may have the hormonal imbalance too, right? So it may cause hormonal imbalance also, right? Now the other thing, see, this is the difference between the normal cell division and cancerous cell division. Okay, now just see the next thing, the difference between the benign tumor and malignant tumor. So see what happens in benign tumor. Suppose this is the area where the tumor cells are growing, but what happened in case of benign tumor, there will be a very thick protective layer, thick sheet will be present, right? And because of the presence of the thick sheet, what will happen, though the cells are multiplying normally, then also the space that will be limited, right? And if the space is limited, what happen, it can cause minimum damage to the normal cells, right? So that is known as the benign tumor. But what happened, this benign tumor can convert into a malignant tumor. So up to that stage, this is not cancerous. So one individual, if it is detected that the stage, the multiplication is only up to this benign tumor, then by removing the benign tumor from the body with the help of surgery, then the individual can recover cancer. But what happened, very often it is not happening. Why? Because this protective sheet can control the division up to a certain time. At one period of time, what will happen, that sheet will burst, right? And whenever that sheet will burst, what will happen, those cancerous cell will go to the other spaces. So this cancerous cell will go to the another locations, it will go somewhere other regions. So whenever it will go to the other locality, other neighboring regions, then what will happen, it will start to release the toxin, it will start killing the normal cells will destroy, and cancerous cell will multiply. And this way, if it is limited to this is also not that dangerous. But the dangerous thing is that if somehow that cancerous cells reach the blood vessel, okay, so this is the blood vessel, right? So once this cancerous cell reach the blood vessel, then what will happen? This state is known as metastasis, remember? So if somehow that cancerous cell reach the blood vessel, we will call that state as metastasis, right? And once it is reaching the metastasis phase, then what will happen, it will be very difficult for the person to remove or to recover from that disease, cancer. Why? Because with the blood vessel, because we know blood is circulating throughout the body to each and every regions of our body, from the head to the toe, in every organ, those cancerous cell will already get spread, right? So if once it gets spread, it will be very difficult to kill that cancerous growth, right? And that phase will be known as metastasis, or generally we use the term fourth stage, right, or the last stage of cancer. So if it reached the metastasis phase, that means this cancerous cell reached the blood vessel and it spread throughout the body, okay, throughout the body. So when it reaches throughout the body, that means with the help of this blood circulatory system, then what will happen, it will dislocate from its origin to the different parts of the body. So that's why what happened, very often it is used to we used to hear that that individual have suppose lung cancer, but it is now spread throughout the body. So it is the reason that already that stage is the metastasis phase. Okay, so once it reaches the metastasis phase, then it will be cancerous and it will be the metastasis phase. After that, let's just move. This is about the cancer. You have to know only about this thing, that normal cells follow contact inhibition, then cancerous cell will not follow contact inhibition. Another thing, that we have two type of tumors. One is benign tumor, okay, and another is the malignant tumor. Okay, so the difference between benign tumor and malignant tumor is that benign tumor is limited in a locality and it causes minimum destruction because it is covered by a thick sheet. And if it comes to the malignant tumor, there will be no protective sheet is present that will spread to the different areas of the body, different tissues and organs of the body. It will start causing damage to maximum area possible. And if it somehow reach the stage metastasis, then it will reach almost every regions of our body, and that stage is known as the last stage or the spreading stage, that is called as metastasis phase. After that, let us see the different cause of cancer. Now after that, let us see the different causes of cancer. First of all, in the causes we have three basic types. What are they? Physical agents, chemical agents and biological agents, right? So if it comes to the physical agents, then it will be different type of radiations. The two type of radiations are ionizing and non-ionizing radiations. If it is ionizing radiation, then it will be alpha X-rays or gamma rays that can cause cancer, that can induce cancer. Next one, if it is non-ionizing radiation, UV radiation suppose are exposed by the skin, then also the individual can catch cancer. Okay, so these are the two physical agents. Now after that, let us see some chemical agents. In day-to-day life, we are exposed to various chemicals, and those chemicals can cause various type of cancers, right? So first of all, just see if it is soot, then coal, tar. If it is exposed by the skin, then in our body the cancerous development can occur. That may be either skin cancer or lung cancer. Next one, if it is cigarette smoking, then it is a very high possibility that that individual can cause lung cancer. Next one, cadmium oxide. It's a reason of prostate gland cancer. In the male, there is an accessory gland present called prostate gland. So prostate gland cancer can also be occurred due to the chemical exposure of cadmium oxide. Next one, for lung cancer, there are various gases present or various type of chemicals present. What are they? Mustard gas. Next one, nickel. Next one, chromium compounds or asbestos. They can cause lung cancer because if those chemicals we inhale through our suppose nose, then in our lung, in our respiratory tract, it can cause cancer. Next one, if it is DES, diethylstilbestos, that can cause vaginal cancer. Now another one is there, that is vinyl chloride, that can cause liver cancer. So these are coming under the chemical agents. After that, let us move to the biological agents. So under the biological agents, see, there are some viruses present. Those viruses are known as oncogenic virus, right? So if it is oncogenic virus, then also it can cause cancer in our body. If we are exposed to those virus, then inside our body, we know that already I told that in our cell we have an inactivated gene that is called proto-oncogene. So that proto-oncogene can be activated by this oncogenic virus, and that oncogenic virus can induce the proto-oncogene to oncogene, and that oncogene will be responsible for the cancerous growth. So this is all about the different causes. After that, let us see the different types of cancer. So basically the three types of cancers are carcinoma, sarcoma and leukemia. Okay, so these are the three basic types of cancer. If it comes to carcinoma, remember it is related to epithelial tissue, right? If it is sarcoma, remember it is related to the connective tissue, and if it is the leukemia, then from the connective tissue there is a specific type of tissue present, that is blood. Okay, so it is related to blood. Remember these three basic type of cancers. See what are they. First of all, if it is carcinoma, it is the cancer of the epithelial tissue. So those tissue which covers our different body organs, they are known, that is known as epithelial tissue. Already we know from the first year, HS first year, what is epithelial tissue. So let us see the different type of epithelial tissue. Skin cancer, then breast cancer, lung cancer, stomach and pancreas cancer. This type of cancers, they are included under carcinoma. Next one, see sarcoma. Here this is the type of cancer where the tissues generally affected are derived from the mesoderm. Okay, so connective tissue is derived from the mesoderm. Even muscular tissue is also derived from the mesoderm, right? So this will include the bone cancer and the cancer of the lymph node. That will include under sarcoma. Next one, see leukemia is the type of cancer that basically the WBCs, they will increase enormously. That will be known as leukemia, and also it can include the cancer of bone marrow, right? So in this type of cancer, tumor development do not occur. So that is the only type of cancer, leukemia, where tumor development do not occur. Next one, see other three type of cancers also we have. Like if it is melanoma, then it is related to the skin pigment. Okay, so if it is the skin pigment related cancer, then it will be known as melanoma. If it is lymphoma, it is the cancer of the lymphatic tissue, and if it is the glioma, then it is the cancer of the glial cell. So one thing, just remember that the nervous tissue can never undergo cancer growth, right? Why this is not happening? Cancer means uncontrolled division, and when the uncontrolled division will occur, whenever the cell will multiply. And in our body, the neurons that can never divide. You already understand, you already know that due to the lack of the centriole, the number of neurons we are born with, the same number of neurons we are going to die with. Then why it is we can hear that the individual is suffering from brain cancer? So brain cancer is not due to the cancer of the neurons present in the brain. It is the glial cells, the supporting cells that is present on the brain, right? So that will include the glial cancer. We generally use the term here, that will be brain cancer. So it is the brain cancer that is not caused due to the neuron present in the brain. It will be the glial cell of the brain, right? So that will be glioma. So in this segment, we will see now the detection and treatment of cancer. So under the detection, first type, that is biopsy, right? So what is biopsy? Biopsy, or also we can call it is histopathological detection. Okay, in histopathological or biopsy, what happened? First of all, from the tumor, a section of tissue is cut. Okay, so first of all, tissue will be taken, a thin slide. Okay, a thin slide is prepared. Okay, and that thin slide of the tumor that is cut, it will be stained, right? So after, it will be under the microscope, it will be checked, right? So first of all, in biopsy, what happened? From the tumor, a section of cells that will be cut. Okay, and that tissues, you know that the study of tissue is known as histology. So it will be sent to histopathological lab. So in that histopathological lab, what they will going to do, they will first of all make a very thin slide of those tissues. where suppose tumor have grown, then after that they will stain that slide, and after that it will be seen under the microscope, obviously high intensity microscope. Then after that, if they detect that yes, some cells they are abnormally growing, then it will be easily detected that that individual, that tumor is cancerous. So that is the main basic detection procedure, that is biopsy. After that, the second one, that is the blood and bone marrow testing. So in blood and bone marrow testing, it will be easily possible. Suppose from the blood, suppose in a test tube blood will be taken. In our blood, we will have all the type of components in its specific percentage, right? Suppose if it comes to RBC, RBC should be present in 4.5 to 5 millions per cubic millimeter. So similarly, if it comes to WBC, it should be around 6,000 per cubic millimeter. Now, if suppose the WBC count becomes 2 lakhs, 2 million, suppose 3 million, then yes, that individual have abnormal leukocyte growth. So it can cause a condition that will be leukemia, or it's the leukemia not because of a high level of WBC. Why actually high level of WBC occurs? That may be another reason, that in the origin of the WBCs, that may be bone marrow, that bone marrow can also have cancerous growth, and due to the cancerous growth, more and more WBCs have been formed. So just by blood testing, one can understand that individual have leukemia or not, right? Next one, the third type, that is radiography. See, if suppose that individual have cancerous growth, but from that cancerous region, we cannot cut a section. Suppose it is in the respiratory tract. Is it possible that the respiratory tract can be cut and seen under the microscope? The individual will anyway die. It isn't that. So for that reason, where biopsy is not possible, we cannot cut a section. So in that region, or it is not possible that we can able to cut a section of that tissue, then it will be easily undergone radiography. So in this radiography, we will have two type of imaging. One is magnetic resonance imaging. Magnetic resonance imaging, that will be simply known as MRI, and CT scan, that is through this CT scan or MRI, we can able to detect the cancerous growth. Just you need to know the difference between MRI and CT scan. If it is MRI, then we will get 2D image, and if it is CT scan, we will have 3D image. So in magnetic resonance imaging, in a very strong magnetic field, the X-rays are passed, okay, through that organ where actually we want to detect whether cancerous cells are grown there or not. So by this imaging, we will just click photos, that will be known as MRI, and through this MRI also this images, we can see the image and we can able to detect cancer. Similarly, the another one, that is CT scan. So in that CT scan also we can have 3D images, so it will be more advanced than MRI. So under the CT scan also X-rays are there, so that X-rays will be exposed, and after that that individual can also detect the cancerous growth, okay, in that region. So that will come under radiography. Next one, a very advanced technology is there for the detection, that will be antibody detection. Otherwise, if you see radiography, the X-rays, that can also induce cancer. So whenever we want to detect cancer, maybe if suppose that individual don't have, or it is just about to get this stage, within very small period of time it can normally grow cancer, right? So the detection can be a cause of cancer, that will be X-ray. So radiography will not be a very beneficial type of method of detection. So that's why a very beneficial type of detection is antibody detection. See, so in our body we will have suppose cancerous growth. So for the cancerous growth, what will happen to you? Our immune system can detect the presence of cancerous growth. Maybe we cannot kill that cancerous cell, but at least our immune system as a response will produce the antibody. So in our body, if in the blood, in the plasma, we can find the presence of antibody against that cancerous cell, then we will be very much sure that that individual have the cancerous growth. That's why he had developed the antibody. So this antibody detection can be a very prominent detection method by which we can able to detect cancer. Next one, the third one, that is detection of the genes in individual who is susceptible to catch cancer in the later period of life. So it is actually advanced technology by which one can understand in future how much percentage the individual can have the disease cancer. Okay, so there was a case around 3, 4, 5 years back. Angelina Jolie have found that her cancerous cell can induce in future and she can develop cancer. So before she can catch cancer, she actually removed those body parts and a new stem cell that had grown in that region and new organs were formed. So this is actually one very advanced technology that is not being practiced in India, even in the world, in the very limited areas in the medical centers. This detection procedure is going on. So our cells, if each and every cells have a gene that is called as proto-oncogene. To what much percentage that proto-oncogenes can develop into oncogene, so that will be checked. So if that have more than suppose 50-60% chances are there where the proto-oncogene can convert into a oncogene, or it can be mutated, or it is already in the mutation process, then it can be easily detected that that individual in the near future can catch cancer, right? So this will be the fifth type, that will be detection of the genes in the individual with inherited susceptibility of certain cancer, because cancer can be also inherited from one generation to the next generation. So if the earlier suppose ancestors or their earlier cycle, suppose grandmother or grandfather, they had cancer, then also those genes that are passing, inheriting from one generation to the next generation, then in our case also this may be possible that that genes which actually caused cancer in our earlier generation, they can cause also cancer in the next generation too. So it can be detected, the genes activation percentage can be detected, and by this also we can able to detect cancer. So these are the different types of detection procedures. After that we will see the different type of treatments. Yeah, treatments are possible in the early stages. If it is detected, then very easily without much complication cancer can be eradicated, or cancer can be removed, cancerous growth can be killed or destroyed by different procedures. So let's just see, first of all, that is surgery. Surgery is a very easy procedure. Suppose that individual have suppose some tumor growth where it is possible that the tumor can be cut. So just by a simple surgery, that tumor can be removed where the cancerous cells are going to develop only. It is not reaching the malignant state. So before that, if the cancerous growth can be detected, then easily the cancerous growth, that cancer can be stopped. So this is one very prominent treatment, that is surgery, by removal of the tissue from the body. Next one, that is radiotherapy. So in that radiotherapy, we can have some radiation, exposure of some x-rays. Those radiation, if it hits, okay, then in our body they can kill the cells, and if the cells are destroyed, the cancerous cells are destroyed, then what happened, the cancerous growth can be stopped. Okay, next one, we have chemotherapy. See, chemotherapy and radiotherapy, they are pretty much same. In both these two therapy, radiations are inserted, or the body is exposed to those radiations, by which radiations or chemicals by which it can kill that cancerous cell. But there is a disadvantage in radiotherapy. Why? Because X-ray do not know which is the normal cell or which is the cancerous cell. So if suppose that individual is exposed to the radiotherapy, it can kill the cancerous cell as well as the normal cell. So that's why it will be a little bit disadvantageous. So that's why a very new technique is also here, that is chemotherapy. Certain chemicals are injected which is specific. It can kill only the cancerous cell, it will not kill the normal cells. So by chemotherapy, cancerous regions only, where the cancerous growth have been going on, only those cancerous cells are killed. But yes, there are some type of we can see some hair loss or the skin tone loss. This type of disadvantages are also here, that are actually the side effects of chemotherapy. Then the most important type of without or it have very less side effect, a very important treatment is here, that is immunotherapy. In immunotherapy, it is very simple. Just by injecting alpha interferon, we already know what was interferon. So by injecting the alpha interferon in our body, those interferons will enter inside our body, it will kill the cancerous cell. So it is the very useful procedure. It's a new technology also. By injecting the alpha interferon, easily the cancerous cell can be killed without much hamper in our body or without much side effect, and also it will be very much specific, right? So these are the different types of treatment we have seen. See, these are the treatment: surgery, radiography, chemotherapy and immunotherapy. Yes, one in chemotherapy, like for one type of cancer, that is thyroid cancer. What can happen, one isotope of iodine 131 exposure is suppose it will be exposed to the thyroid gland, and those regions where the cancerous growth have occurred in the thyroid gland, that will be killed. Okay, so yeah, that is all about a treatment. So hope you have understood. We have discussed the first definition, what is cancer. Then after that we have seen what is the main cause of cancer. Main cause of cancer is development of the proto-oncogene to oncogene, and the second one is mutation of the tumor suppressor gene. Second thing, we have seen the differences between the benign tumor and malignant tumor, and also we have discussed the contact inhibition and metastasis. Just remember these words, they are very much important. Next one, we have seen the different causes of cancer. Three types of causes we have. What are they? They are the physical agents, chemical agents and biological agents. So all those agents are very much important. Then after that we have seen detection and the treatment. Under the detection, we have this 5 type of detection, and in the treatment we will have all those 4 types of detection. So you just elaborate it. I will provide specifically for this PDF. For all those I will explain in words. So this is all about cancer. Hope you have understood. In the next video we will come to the last part of this chapter, human health and disease. Thank you.